We're now ready for questions, and oh, by the way, with this array of academic talent, I feel that we can answer any question in the universe. And if you have some really difficult questions on how the search was conducted, I can tell you firsthand, Lovey Hamill loves punishment. Okay, do we have any questions?
Thank you. Ruben Jones from ConnectToMason.com and George Mason Student Media. There have been a lot of administrators and deans who have recently announced their resignations or retirement from the university, which is normal for when a president leaves the university. But it's been especially high this year. Are you concerned at all about the high amount of administrators who are leaving the university, and what is your plan to bring in the best people to Mason?
Turnover in leadership positions are obviously challenges, but also opportunities for an organization like Mason. So I do hope that we can get some the timing right, and one would hope that not everybody leaves at once. That would be very, very nice. Listen, the caliber of the people that I have found and that I have met so far are just remarkable, and I really hope that all of them will feel like there is a place for them in Mason, that I'm here to help them, but also to rely on them. I'm not the president until July 1st, so whatever happens between now and then will be strictly the responsibility of But beyond that, I will take the baton, and choosing the right people for the right jobs. I consider that to be really one of the top, if not the top, responsibilities for any leader. So that would do necessarily a big part of my attention.
Any other questions?
Good morning, Ernst, and welcome, Ángel. So how your experience at Thunderbird is shaping your vision for Mason becoming continue to become a global university?
I just want to identify the anonymous questioner. It's Jorge Haddock, Dean of the School of Business, so you better have a good answer.
Jorge, with you on board, at least we're going to dominate Latin America. at least that one will be. It's incredible how well the Mason brand is known around the world, and it is very hard to build a brand that is recognized internationally. And for a university this young to have a brand that resonates and that is known around the world, that is an incredible asset. I do indeed have a great deal of experience in international education. That's my background. So I do hope to learn more about the initiatives that are currently underway, the programs that we have, and that's an area that I hope I can at least coordinate the different points of view and figure out the right plan. Going international is absolutely essential, but it's also very, very complex. And everybody's trying to figure out new ways to get it right. And there is not a clear winning model. But I think that when we put bright minds together to think about that, we'll get some successes. And I really will rely on people like you, Jorge.
In the last few years, it seems Virginia has had a little bit of an idea that universities have had a little more autonomy and been able to raise tuition a little bit more because they're not getting much from the state. What is your thinking in terms of approaching, seeking funding from the state, and how that will relate to tuition increases going forward?
Matt Barakat from Associated Press.
I need to learn more. I need to spend time with the administration. Even last night, I got to meet our senior vice president, and we had our initial conversation. I really need to learn more and dig much deeper into the financials of the university and get to understand it better. I do believe, though, that the higher education system is under pressure, and society needs to have more people educated, and universities have become more and more expensive, and we have to figure out ways to resolve that puzzle. It's not an easy one, and not one that affects Mason exclusively. In fact, is a top concern for administrators of all major universities. So I'm confident that working with the administration will find the right answers to that.
Since I've got the responsibility for the next 6 months, one of the characteristics of George Mason University is we have moved ahead day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, no matter what the current fiscal situation was in Virginia and far beyond. And I think that it goes back to what Ángel said, is that you get the right people, the progress always comes. I mean, we were building buildings when it didn't seem to make sense to people. We were starting programs when it didn't make the sense. If we gave it, look out here at the deans, I could list all the things that we have accomplished. For when we started, people said, there's no money, it'll never work. Well, to be crass, we were right, they were wrong. And I think that it's that approach that we've had and that we need to continue having, that Ángel will lead, is that we just move ahead with whatever it takes. Sometimes you have to package money up. I mean, we have certain buildings where there's state money, private money, federal contracts and grants, and lease money. So we build facilities through partnerships. And I think that's what makes this place different, is that the state's got to help us, and the governor's announcements yesterday are quite helpful. How much helpful we'll know with by Monday, but the governor has stepped forward with money for higher education, and we have to make sure that we get more than our share. That's our goal.
I can tell you that the issue of funding for the university is one of the most intensely debated issues on the Board of Visitors. Particularly the need to raise student tuition. Nobody wants to do that. There's a limit to how much you can reduce your costs. We talk all the time about such things as fundraising, funded research, and entrepreneurial ventures that would help the university legitimately gain money that it can use to offset the expenses. The fact of the matter is that the state does not properly support its in-state students. And so we lose money on every one. So it's too easy to increase student tuition, but we have to. It's hard. And we're trying to save a little on our electrical bill. Are there any other questions?
Yes. This question is for Dr. Cabrera. Alex Romano here at WGMU with the Office of Student Media. And my question for you is, what did you envision your first 100 days as president to be?
A lot of listening and a lot of learning. I think that's going to be the key. And I do understand, we were talking a few minutes ago with President Merton, and he uses a metaphor that I think perfectly describes his jobs, where it's you're riding on a fast train and trying to change the engine without stopping the train, and that I think that says it. So obviously the world is not going to stop for 90 days, but I think it is very important to spend the first days learning as much as I can from the people here. There's an amazing amount of talent here, and I need to understand what it is, what people are working on, what are they doing, what are the challenges that they're facing, to try to understand how I can be most useful to them.
Other questions? Yes, okay, good.
Thank you. I'm Justin Loveton with Broadside Office of Student Media. You mentioned, this is a question to the future president. You mentioned earlier Mason's brand and how it's known internationally. During your tenure, do you foresee changing how we are seen by the Wolves at all? Do you want to make any changes to comment on that?
I guess when you build a brand, you have two components of it that you have to work on. One is simply awareness, and the other one is making sure people recognize the brand, and the other one is the values of that brand. What is it that people associate with that brand when they hear it? And I think work has to be done on both. And the best way to build awareness is by what our faculty and students do. And the more the ideas of our faculty are heard around the world, the more influential those ideas are, and the better things our graduates do, that is what builds awareness. And in terms of the values, I think they're already there. I mean, the values of entrepreneurship, the values of innovation, the values of really educating people who can make a difference. I think those are already there. So hopefully we'll work on both sides of building a good brand.
Anything else?
This is a question for Dr. Cabrera.
Again, these prominent academics are fond of remaining anonymous. But I'm going to expose Dean Griffiths from the School of Engineering.
It's actually the Volchanov School. In this increasingly connected world, universities are becoming more competitive with each other. And in particular, we have a lot of universities in our backyard that aren't physically located here now. And I wondered, I'd be interested in your comments on distance education, what we might be doing in that area.
The internet is changing everything, and it has transformed media, and it has transformed entertainment, and music, and news, and everything else. And to sit in education and to think that it's not going to happen to us is to be in a serious state of denial. The internet is changing what we do and how we do it, and there's huge opportunity for universities that find ways to leverage technology to carry out their missions. So I think there are two choices that any university has to face. One is to ignore the biggest technological change of our time and risk becoming very quickly very irrelevant, or being innovative, being entrepreneurial, and trying to figure out how the internet can help deliver on our mission. And I sense we want to be on camp number 2, and definitely that's where I am. And of course, there's on distance education. In fact, even that label is a little bit of a misnomer. I have seen distance education happen in big lecture halls when the student in the last row and the 300 students. I think there's more distance education to that than the intimacy that some technology affords. But finding out how technology can help our mission, that's the key. There are lots of things that are happening in e-learning and technology-driven education. Some of that is extremely good and exciting and promising. Some of that is not so much. Trying to find how technology can serve our mission is going to be critical for the future. And I am a techno nerd, so that's an area that I'll be very, very involved. I'll stay here.
My name is Rassam Hussein Ali, and I am the coordinator of the Arabic program here at GMU.
Of what program, sir?
Arabic.
The Arabic
language. And I have a question about promoting GMU abroad to bring international students here. There's a lot of interest of getting a degree from American universities, and some universities go overseas, promote their programs through seminars, conferences, whatever. Whenever I travel to the Middle East, to Jordan or Palestine, I get bombarded by ambitious students, graduate, undergraduate, they think I can't get them an admission or something because I work here. So do you envision working on programs to promote bringing undergraduate or graduate students from abroad here, especially that there are people who can pay the tuition, and this can offset some of the, deficits we have here.
Right. Well, when a student from, let's say from the Middle East comes to Mason, not only we're making a difference, hopefully, in the Middle East, and hopefully when that person returns, if that person ever returns, we'll have made a difference in that part of the world. But while that person is at Mason, that person is enriching the educational experience for the rest of the students at Mason. The world where our students are going to be working, it's an interconnected, it's a global, that's the world they're going to experience. So whatever we do, we're going to have to make sure that we bring the world to Mason, we take Mason to the world.
One last question.
Where Michael Nichols, I'm part of the music faculty here.
And what else?
Sneaky, huh?
I run our athletic bands program, which is we're moving towards making as much school spirit as possible. And I guess my question is simply, has anyone taught you the fight song yet?
I have 6 months to learn it.